Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to St Mary's Vicarage on the Saturday, the 2nd of May. Lovely to see you all this morning. Looks like we're going to have a fine day here in Handley, according to the weather reports. Should be sunny all day, though I think the temperature's only going to be about 14, 15 degrees. So great day to get out into our gardens if you're lucky enough to have one, do a bit of gardening, sit out in the garden. Lovely day to go for a walk. I think it might even be warm enough for a bit of a barbecue in the garden later on. If you're not lucky enough to have a garden, I certainly think it's a wonderful day to throw all your windows open and get some fresh air in, and let the sun stream in wherever you are. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Graham. Good morning, Annie and Mike. Lovely to see you all on this Saturday morning. Good morning, Bill. Graham has just said, good morning all. Today is Worldwide Naked Gardening Day. Excellent. So there we go. The weather's perfect. Get your kit off and get yourselves into the garden. Please send me your photographs, is all I can say. That should be great. Worldwide, yes, it's Worldwide Naked Gardening Day today. I look forward to telling Mrs. Vicarage that after this broadcast and watching the expression on her face. Anyhow, the weather's going to be good. Certainly down here in Handley most of today, so I think we can go out and get some fresh air. Good morning, Michelle. Lovely to see you all. Morning, Naomi. Bit of a film review. I think lots of us on the news yesterday on Radio 4, I often listen to Front Row. I don't know if any of you are fans of Front Row. I'm a huge film buff, love movies. And it's been interesting and won't surprise people that, of course, during the lockdown, the amount of TV or live streaming or whatever is we're watching has gone through the roof. Lots of people watching box sets of all sorts of things. I have to say that's not particularly my cup of tea, unless it's sci-fi. I have enjoyed the new Star Trek series Picard. I can thoroughly recommend that if you're a Trekkie. That's available on Amazon. And another great sci-fi thing is Stranger Things. If you remember Goonies in the 1980s, that movie, Stranger Things is sort of a similar sort of thing to that. It's a bit more scary though. It's not particularly for young children, but if you like sci-fi, that's very good. But I like a really good movie. I love good movies, and I love the cinema experience. I do like going to the cinema. One of our favourite cinemas is actually in Bath, called the Little Red Theatre. Of course, closed at the moment, and it's one of those sort of art house cinemas. It's quite small. It's fairly intimate, and got quite lovely old-fashioned decor. We've got a couple of cinemas like that down here in Dorset, which I certainly hope survive this lockdown. There's a great cinema in Wimborne. There's another one in Wareham, and there's also a really good one in Dorchester, I believe, which I haven't been to, but I know Annie and Mike have been to that one. And yeah, that cinema experience is great. Anyhow, these sort of online companies, Amazon, Netflix, all of that, they're making films available before their time. Normally, obviously, you have to wait for the DVD release and everything. But they are now releasing films a little bit quicker. It does mean you have to pay a bit of a premium for them. You know, it can be anything from a tenner to 15 quid, but if there's a whole family watching, that's still a lot cheaper than going to the cinema. But I hope the cinema experience doesn't die, because I do think there is really something about sitting down and watching a movie collectively on the big screen. A few people joining us as well. Good morning, Mila. Lovely to see you all the way from Ireland. It's my cousin-in-law or cousin. Lovely to see you. Good morning, Lorna. Lovely to see you. Good morning, Craig. Good morning, Sally. So yeah, cinema experience is really great. Anyhow, last night we watched Jojo Rabbit. It's a very unusual concept for a film. It is based on a book, and it's about a little boy who's about 7 years old, I think 7, 8 years old, living in Germany in wartime. And like a lot of young children, he has an imaginary friend. Unfortunately, his imaginary friend is Adolf Hitler, brilliantly played by the director. And of course, he becomes very obsessed with sort of Nazism and the Hitler Youth and such like. I don't want to spoil the film too much for you, but it really is worth a watch. You sort of look at it and you think, oh, I'm not sure if this is going to work. But it's all about actually how we really understand people, because and I won't do a spoiler for you of what actually happens, but it sort of deals with that thing about how various groups of people can be demonized. And of course, in that setting in Nazi Germany, it's dealing with, in a sense, of how this affected young people like Jojo, who were sort of believing all of this propaganda that sort of, Jewish people were reptiles or could hang from ceilings and all that sort of thing. And all that propaganda is bombarded at him. And he meets a Jewish child, and they start to become friends. And in a sense, the flip side of the coin is that how the Jewish child has had the other child demonized as well, though let's face it, the Nazis were pretty demonic in that sense. But it just shows how friendship can break through all of that. If we actually try to get to know somebody, that we might have been fed all of this nonsense about particular groups of people. It's a beautiful film. I can thoroughly recommend it. It's called Jojo Rabbit. I don't know what certificate is. I would hazard a guess. I think it's about a 15 off the top of my head. But if you want a good film to watch, it's you wouldn't think there was a lot of humour in it, but it's very funny. It is very funny, and it plucks at the heartstrings, and you will probably shed a tear too. It is a beautiful, beautiful story, and beautifully filmed. And Jojo has a friend in the Hitler Youth who's just brilliant, who keeps appearing during the film. So I can thoroughly recommend that Jojo Rabbit if you want a good film. It's available on Amazon, so unfortunately you'd have to be a member of Amazon, and you can pick it up there. I think it was £9 to watch as a quick release. A few other people joining us. Good morning, Jean, lovely to see you. Good morning, Mary, and good morning, Bill. The boy, yes, Bill is also saying the film The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. That is an excellent film. I mean, that's a really sad film, but it is a brilliant movie too, and the book is fantastic for youngsters as well. Anyhow, that's Jojo Rabbit. Glad Mary has joined us. I do have some of Mary's fantastic marmalade still available. Mary has very kindly made a batch of marmalade to sell off for church funds. It's £2.50 a jar. It's great. Some people picked some up yesterday, and I delivered a few jars. I've still got some more. If you would like some, if you'd like me to drop it around your house, then just send me a message, and I'll do that today on my walks. Or if you're walking past the church or the vicarage, just come and bang on the front door. We've got the porch, the box in the porch, and you can pick it up from there. It's £2.50 a jar, and it is absolutely delicious. So thank you, Mary, for producing that. Yesterday, I was doing a bit of a parody of lots of people who do these sort of YouTube broadcasts are all sponsored by various quite obscure products and organisations. So I was doing a little bit of a parody yesterday on sort of being sponsored by Cashmore marmalade, but all of the money is going to church funds. So thank you for that, Mary. If you'd like some marmalade, then either come up to the vicarage, bang on the door, or send me a message, and we'll get it to you. So just about Sunday, tomorrow, there's some sheets. We're going to be doing our online service in a family service type theme. The order of service and the hymn sheet has all gone out on our mailing, which Mike brilliantly puts together. There's quite a lot of sheets here. If you haven't got this and you would like it, please send an email to canonrick@icloud.com. That's CANON @icloud.com. cathedral.com, and we'll get these sheets to you. If there's any youngsters listening this morning, it would be fantastic if you could write a short prayer and send it to me before tomorrow so we can read those prayers out during the family service. And also youngsters, and any young at heart as well, do have your bubbles ready for bubble prayers when we do the intercessions. There's some great songs, and we'll be having an action song as well, which Mrs. Vicarage will be leading. We'll be doing it sitting down, so there'll be action song sitting down that you can do. The other thing we're going to try tomorrow for the first time is we're going to do sort of after church online coffee. Mike and I, Mike Dara and I have been discussing how this works. What we're having to do is, because it's our first go, we're just wanting to limit the numbers just a little bit. So you would have had an invitation to that. What you do need to do for this to work is you need to download onto your computer the program or app called Zoom. Okay. It works really well. I know lots of people have said sort of odd things about Zoom. I've been using it for Scouts meetings and church meetings. And the free version originally did limit meetings to 40 minutes, but Zoom now, during the pandemic, it doesn't do that. It upgrades it for free. It's very simple to use. Once you've downloaded it, providing it's on your computer, providing the app is on your computer, all you have to do is then click the invitation link that will be sent to you. So I think Mike is probably going to send that out. So you'll get an email from notices, from the church notice email. There'll be a link there. You click on that. It will open the Zoom program that you have downloaded onto your computer, or I think you do it on your computer, your iPad, or your phone, or your tablet. And then you'll access the Zoom meeting. And what happens is you sort of we all end up in little squares, but it means we can see each other and talk to each other. So we're going to have a first go of that tomorrow at 11:30. So after the service is finished, won't last too long. The family service for about 45 minutes. Just gives us a little bit of time to put on our makeup if we haven't done during for the service or whatever, and make a cup of coffee and join the Zoom meeting. Now, if that's successful, as I say, it's a trial run tomorrow. We'll then widen it out, and then on Thursday morning, what we want to try and do is to do a Zoom sort of coffee event, a bit like we would have normally would have had Magnificafe on the Thursday morning. So we're going to try it on Thursday morning as well, expand it a little bit up. And then we're going to try a few other things. Hopefully in a week or couple of weeks' time, we'll do an online quiz, which will be a fundraiser for the church. Bill Chorley has put together Bill Chorley has put together 2 lots of 50 questions, so we'll be able to do 2 quizzes. Whole family can join in with that, and that'll probably be on a Friday or Saturday night. But watch this space, and we'll sort that out. But the most important thing is, if you want to be able to join the coffee, sort of online virtual coffee morning after church on Sunday, and the thing on Thursday, all the quizzes, you will need to download and install Zoom on your computer, tablet, or phone. It's very simple. Just Google Zoom. It takes a minute or 2 to get it onto your computer, and it works great. So that's Sunday. All the order of service sheet for the family service is on our mailing, so you can follow along with the live stream. And on the back of the order of service is the hymn sheet, so you can join in with the hymns. So that's all there if you would like that. Now, the other thing I have spoken about a couple of times is being crafty and artistic and creative and all of that. And for a bit of inspiration, go and have a look at our Salisbury Cathedral's virtual tour. Our beautiful cathedral, of course, is celebrating 800 years since its inception. And of course, and I feel for Jackie, one of our congregation who works with the cathedral, very involved with the cathedral. And they had a huge programme of events were going to be happening this year to celebrate that 800th anniversary. And of course, the cathedral, like our church, is all locked up. However, they are coming up with really great ways of looking at this. And if you go onto the Cathedral Facebook page, or if you scroll down this particular Facebook page, the church Facebook page, you will find a link to Salisbury Cathedral and their virtual tour. They've got some fabulous artwork that has been put up in the cathedral and in the cathedral grounds, and you can use the virtual tour to look at the artwork and get some information about it. It's great, it's brilliant, and of course the great advantage of it is you don't have to do it all in one go. Once you've found that link, you can click on it, you're having a cup of tea, you know, want to spend 10 minutes looking at some particular piece of artwork that they've done, then that's there. And I don't know, scrolling down, I'm not sure if Jackie's with us this morning, but I know she listens to this later on. Jackie, can you pass our love and thanks to the Dean and all of your team for what you're doing with the cathedral to keep it accessible to us even in these difficult times, and for that art gallery. And we hope that the 800th anniversary celebrations of the cathedral, despite what we're experiencing, still go well. So do pass our love from Handley Benefice to all of the Dean and Canons and all of the team at the cathedral. Good morning, Philippa, lovely to see you. Good morning, Sky. Good morning, Mary. Love to see you. So yeah, do go and have a look at the Salisbury Cathedral site and do their virtual tour. It's excellent. Right, so just turning to things today. Saints' Days. Yesterday we did a few other things, but of course I should have mentioned yesterday, and apologies for that, very important feast day yesterday. It was the feast day on the 1st of May. It's Philip and James the Apostle, and we read part of a bit of the letter to James and yesterday, but I forgot to mention that. Anyhow, today the church gives thanks and remembers Athanasius, Bishop of Alexandria, and teacher of the faith. So I'll just read a little bit about him for you now. Athanasius was born in about the year 296 of Christian parents and educated at Cathedral School in Alexandria. He was present at the Council of Nicaea as a deacon, accompanying his bishop Alexander, who he succeeded as patriarch in the year 328. Athanasius held firmly to the doctrine of the church as defined by the council, and became a leader of those opposed to the teachings of Arian, which denied the divinity of Christ. He was deposed from and restored to his see several times because of his uncompromising faith. In or out of exile, Athanasius continued his writing, ever the proponent of orthodoxy over heterodoxy, and the essential need for the church to teach the true doctrines of the faith rather than the watered-down version of it. He was a strong believer in asceticism as a means of restoring the divine image in humanity, and thus a supporter of monasticism, which was at its nascent state at this time. He was a friend of Polonius and who wrote the life of Antony of Egypt, which showed the cenobitic life as holding a balance between things earthly and heavenly. He died on this day in the year 373. So that's Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, his feast day today. Now, if you remember, for those of you remember yesterday, what I said we would do during May is, because I'm a third order Franciscan, I would share with you each day what we call the principles. So as Franciscans, we're asked to read one of these each day and reflect on it during the day. And it goes right through the month. So it's a really good way of understanding what third order Franciscans are about. Had a conversation with somebody yesterday. What I will also do is I will add, after this live stream, I will add the link to the third order website. So if you want to find out more yourself about the Franciscan community, Anglican Franciscan community in the third order, then you just need to click on the link I'll put up, and there's a lot of information there, really interesting stuff. So we're on to the principles, and for the first few days we have what we call the object of the order. So we're in day 2, and it's the object continued. In the example of his own sacrifice, Jesus reveals the secret of bearing fruit. In surrendering himself to death, he becomes the source of new life. Lifted from the earth on the cross, he draws all people to himself. Clinging to life causes life to decay. The life that is freely given is eternal. And that's the object for the order on day 2. Now, thinking of Athanasius today, it has to be said that Francis wasn't a huge love of academia. He frowned upon his brothers spending too much time in academic study, and that actually what they should spend their time is in prayer and service to others. So there was a bit of a tension in the Franciscan order in its early years. And I'll read out to you now from this book, Praises of the Virtues, written by Francis. And it sort of picks up a little bit on this, because Francis does talk about pursuing wisdom. He was very influenced by the sort of chivalry of the time. He did want to be a knight, Francis, and he did go, and he wasn't a very good knight. His father, Bernardone, who was a sort of cloth merchant, he was a classic sort of young man that we sort of see today. He wanted to be a knight because it was glamorous, and he liked the outfit and the uniform, but he couldn't fight for toffee. And his father sort of bought him all the best kit and a nice horse, and he rode off to Perugia, the neighbouring town, for a sort of a scrap. And I think within moments, didn't last very long, and was imprisoned. So he wasn't a very good knight, but he was influenced by this idea of knightly chivalry, and in a sense the sort of thing we found in the the stories of the Knights of the Round Table and that sort of thing. And that figures very much in his later spirituality, that he saw himself in a sense as a sort of a chivalrous knight of Christ. And he talks about all knights have to pursue a lady. So he spoke about lady poverty. That was his lady that he did everything for. But he also speaks about charity, lady charity and wisdom. And that comes out in this little set of prayers, Praises of Virtues from St. Francis. Hail, Queen Wisdom! The Lord save you with your sister, pure, holy simplicity. Lady, holy poverty, God keep you with your sister, holy humility. Lady, holy love, God keep you with your sister, holy obedience. All holy virtues, God keep you, God from whom you proceed and come. In all the world there is not a man who can possess any one of you without first dying to himself. The man who practices one and does not offend against the other possesses all. The man who offends against one possesses none and violates all. Each and every one of you puts vice and sin to shame. Holy wisdom puts Satan and all his wiles to shame. Pure and holy simplicity puts all the learning of this world, all natural wisdom to shame. Holy poverty puts to shame all greed and avarice and all the anxieties of this life. Holy humility puts pride to shame and all the inhabitants of this world and all that is in the world. Holy love puts to shame all the temptations of the devil and the flesh and all natural fear. Holy obedience puts to shame all natural and selfish desires. It mortifies our lower nature and makes it makes it obey the Spirit and our fellow men. Obedience subjects a man to everyone on earth, and not only to men, but to all the beasts as well, and to the wild animals, so that they can do what they like with him, as far as God allows them. So that was written by St. Francis, and you can see there in the opening passage this sort of idea of chivalry, put my teeth in, pursuing lady wisdom, lady simplicity, lady humility. All of that sort of comes through in that wonderful thing, praise of virtues. So just before we have our prayers, just to say, just a reminder, if you'd like some of Mary's marmalade, which is going towards church funds, do send me a message or just come and bang on the vicarage door if you're going for your daily walk. I hope you can join us tomorrow for our online live stream family service at 10 o'clock. If not, of course, you can watch it anytime later on, either through the Facebook page here or our YouTube channel, so you can watch it in your own time. And if you're interested in the Zoom, joining the Zoom coffee morning and other things we're trying to do, please remember to download that Zoom program or app onto your computer, iPad or phone, so you'll be able to join us. You will hopefully be getting an email from Mike to invite you to that. We're experimenting a bit tomorrow, and then we'll broaden it out just to we want to make sure we get it right. So do join that. Do have a look at the Cathedral tour, which I've mentioned. And I hope you have a fabulous day. Going back to what... I just want to mention Bill. Of course, it was Friday night. It was glam night last night, all dressed up with nowhere to go. And Bill, with his son Andrew, every Friday has been... It's just fantastic, Bill. Thanks so much. Has been getting dressed up in some fabulous outfits, and Andrew's been taking a photograph of Bill. Last night, I'll get the picture up onto the church site. Last night, Bill was visiting Australia and standing in front of Ayers Rock in Aussie garb, Australian garb, holding a koala. Absolutely fantastic, which inspired me to put my safari outfit on last night. So thanks, Bill. I have suggested to Bill and Andrew that come the end of the year, we should choose the 12 best Bill photographs and produce a church calendar of Bill, which I just think would be great. So watch this space. Watch this space for that. So thanks for that, Bill. And yeah, hope you have a really great day. Back to what Graham said: enjoy your gardens, and be aware that today is Naked Gardening Day. So I look forward to that, and I'm just going to go and tell Mrs. Vicarage that it's Naked Gardening Day today, National Day. So that should be fun. Anyhow, have a fantastic Saturday, lovely people, in whatever you're doing. Enjoy some fresh air, and I hope the Lord and His Spirit is with you, and there's some joy. You find some joy in life today. Let's just close with the grace today. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, and the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all evermore. Amen. So I'm off to take the clothes off now and do some weeding. All the best.